877-437-4781. 877-437-4781.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Darren Spearman reporting. USDA's peanut stocks and processing has been issued for the month of May, the 10th month of the marketing year for peanut farmers. Peanut stocks at commercial storage right now, 2.89 billion pounds overall. That is up 5.5% over last year. Shell peanuts on hand, 780 million. That's up 17% overall. And the market will probably not change from based on those facts. Good news from the government. The government purchases for nutrition program was up 300% for peanuts and peanut butter. That's on May compared to May of last year. For the 10-month period, the government purchases are down 16.6%. There are efforts being made to increase the purchases of peanut butter for the child nutrition programs and for some prisons and other areas. Overall, peanut usage right now is up 4.0%. That compares to the same 10-month period of last year.
Peanut producers, fine-tune your farming operation with information gained at the 22nd Annual Southern Peanut Growers Conference set for July 15th through 17th at Edgewater Beach Resort in Panama City Beach, Florida. The 3-day event provides farmers with valuable information about peanut production, legislative issues, marketing, and promotions. The conference is presented by the Southern Peanut Farmers Federation. Visit southernpeanutfarmers.org for more information.
The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has a program to reward and encourage environmental stewardship for ag and forestry producers. The Conservation Stewardship Program is voluntary. Applicants must be USDA operators. For more information on CSP, visit nrcs.usda.gov. Helping people help the land.
I'm Darren Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have some sunshine, then turning cloudy with a severe thunderstorm this afternoon, which can bring flash flooding and damaging winds. High today 89 to 91. Partly cloudy tonight, low 73 to 76. Then Tuesday we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine with a couple of thunderstorms in the afternoon. High tomorrow 85 to 87. Thunderstorm in spots Wednesday afternoon as well. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Waldron.
Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage check.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Hi, this is Jack O'Brien, and I could tell you stories about Miss Melody. She created a small circular garden behind her home where she had a lovely view of the only par 5 on the Calazona Championship course. On this particular day, Miss Melody had discovered grubs, big as her little finger under her camellia bushes. They were everywhere. She was so busy digging them up and sticking them in a pile in front of her that she wasn't aware she had a companion until she smelled him. She turned her head to the left, and there, beside her, sitting placidly on his plush bottom, was a 200-pound Florida black bear. Its beautiful fur was dense and shiny and black and auburn, except for his right foot that had a speck of white. Miss Melody thought about her situation for a split second, grabbed a grub and tossed it in front of the bear. The bear grabbed the grub, popped it into his mouth, and looked at Miss Melody, and so she did it again and again. Then he did a curious thing. He rested his head on her back, almost affectionately. She could feel the warmth of his breath on her neck, and it scared her. But suddenly, he stood and walked away, just like that. Now, the next day, at her regular medical checkup, Melody decided to tell the doctor about her new friend. "I had lunch with a bear yesterday, Dr. Parsons. I was minding my own business in my backyard, and a fully grown bear sat down next to me and stayed for lunch." Doc Parsons could tell she wasn't making this up. "You can't be serious. He was a perfect gentleman. Look, Miss Melody, bears are curious, but they're usually afraid of people. And to have one approach you is very rare. Did he scratch you or try to bite you?" "No, he did not. I was only concerned that when he was sniffing at my back, it was just a bit disconcerting." "Well, that's interesting." "Yes, behind my head, sort of under my straw hat. It was really very sweet. You know, a bear's nose is very sensitive. I think I want to take a look at your back." And that's how the doctor discovered the melanoma. Within a couple days, it was cut out, and tests showed that they got everything. That bear had saved Miss Melody's life. That's why when her neighbor Janet Castelli called her about the accident, she was devastated. The Castellis had been driving around Lake Weir on their way back home, and they saw that a bear had been hit and killed in front of a farm on the east side of the lake. She saw the Fish and Wildlife officer first, then the farmer, then a mound of black fur sprawled on the edge of the roadside ditch. She walked up to them and made a strange request. "Would you gentlemen check that bear's feet for a white mark, please? I'd like to know if I've seen it before." They obliged, knelt down, and held up a front paw with a bright patch of white. But it was the left paw, not the right. This was not Miss Melody's bear. But it was a brother or sister, most certainly. And Miss Melody was overcome with grief, and she cried right in front of those men who had no idea who on earth she was. She cried for her friend's loss. And again, that night at home, she cried, and she could not sleep. So she got up and walked to the window, and she saw the full moon in a cloudless Florida sky. And she looked down at her garden, at the dark shape moving in the shadows, and her tears went away. This is Jack O'Brien. Thanks for listening.
Like what you've just heard? I Could Tell You Stories with Jack O'Brien is brought to you by Brick City Digital. Hi, I'm Michael Warren, and at Brick City Digital Marketing, we believe every business has a great story to tell. Our job is to help your business tell your story in a way that brings more customers to your door. We help small businesses just like yours with web design, social media, SEO, video, and more. Visit us online at brickcity.com or call 352-351-1131 for a free consultation.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. As you heard about Jack O'Brien here. Animals can sense those kind of things. I know that a friend of mine had a pug that when his aunt came over, we must have been we were in our 20s. When his aunt came over to stay for about a 4-week stay, the first day she was there, this pug didn't like very many people. He liked my buddy's owner, the mom, and he liked my buddy and his sister. He didn't even like his dad. He'd growl at his dad and stuff. So this pug was a little, territorial. The aunt showed up. The pug never met the aunt. Everybody was amazed when the pug walked right up to her, sniffed her hand, sniffed her leg, then started licking her hand, and then laid down next to her, and then stayed for the entire 4 weeks she was there. The pug stayed right near her side almost the entire time. Wouldn't go to the owner, wouldn't go to the kids or anything, almost the whole time. And finally the owner was like, because she had watched some show, and she goes, dogs sometimes stay next to people like that they don't know real well when the person has some sort of illness or something. And so the aunt, who was in her 70s, went and got checked out and had cancer in her liver. And they were able to catch it, and they did surgery and cut out most of the cancer. But the aunt would have had no way of knowing she had it. And to this day, my friend's mom will still say that pug knew her aunt, her sister, had cancer. And that's why he was staying there too. And you hear stories about that like that all the time. I don't know whether they're true or not, whether there's any accuracy to them, whether there's any basis to them. But I know that pug stayed next to that lady for the entire 4-week vacation she was there. And that pug never stayed near anybody. And he took to this lady like he'd known her his whole life. And he was an ornery little cuss, but not to her. And come to find out, she went and got tested when she got back from the vacation off of what her sister had said about how dogs sometimes can tell illnesses and all. And lo and behold, she had cancer in her liver and was able to get the surgery needed and lived to be in her mid-80s. So now somebody goes, well, how's that math work? Well, my buddy's mom was in her 50s, and she was like a child that came from her father and her mother and her sister's mother were different because her sister's mother had died. So it was another, mother, but they were still half sisters, but 20 years apart because of the age, the dad and the mom being widowed. But, her 70-year-old sister came to visit her. And lo and behold, the dog sat next to her the whole time, and she thinks to this day, well, I don't know, she's not alive now, but she went to her grave believing that pug of hers saved her sister's life and gave her another good 10, 12 years of living. If you've ever heard a story like that, 622-9622 is the number to call. I don't know if there's any more stories out there like that, but I know that when Jack O'Brien was talking about that bear could smell and, laid his head on her, and then she went to the doctor and found out things. They say animals have that sense. None of my animals stay around me, so I guess that means I'm pretty healthy. They congregate around their mom, or either I yell at them and they don't want to be around me. It's one or the other. I don't know which one, but it's one or the other. Hey, the sheriff was supposed to be here this morning, but as is the case with law enforcement officers quite a bit, he had some things come up that were much more important to take care of than coming on a radio show. And I'm glad, because that's how you keep the citizens of this community safe, is you put your job ahead of radio interviews. And the sheriff had to do that today, so we'll get Sheriff Billy Woods on another time, but hope everything comes out okay. He was detained, though, and was not able to make it. So we understand these kind of things that happen all the time, and hope everything goes well. And we'll talk to the chief of police at another time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the upcoming weather, plus somebody lost a liquor license. Why? Well, we're looking at that next. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing.